The most infamous piece of lost media in the series is probably Kingdom Hearts VCast. VCast was a mobile game developed by Superscape, a British developer most famous for Kingdom Hearts VCast. It's actually just called Kingdom Hearts, but we wouldn't want to confuse these two now, would we? The game follows a very stiff Sora who can only move around using Resident Evil-style tank controls, as he visits iconic worlds like Agrabah, Swashbuckler's Island, Maleficent's Castle, Wonderland, and the famous Obstacle Course. Remember Obstacle Course? After getting his bearings in the Obstacle Course world, which serves as a tutorial world for the player, Sora wakes up on Swashbuckler's Island where he encounters Maleficent. She uses a dark tendril to poison him, leading him to visit the 3 remaining worlds to collect magic teeth in order to create an antidote, and also to rescue Donald and Goofy. Then he wakes up and learns it was all just a dream. You've probably guessed it by now, but the game isn't really canon. Not just because of its odd little plot, but also because Square wasn't involved at all in its development. That being said, I guess there's nothing stopping you from including it in your headcanon. The game was released exclusively for the Verizon Wireless mobile phone VCast service in 2005, which shut down in 2012, which means that the only official way to play this game today is to have downloaded it on a nearly 20-year-old phone. And to add insult to injury, you don't just need one 20-year-old phone, no, you need 4 20-year-old phones, because you could only store one chapter on your phone at a time, which has made the effort to recover this game take a really, really long time. A 4chan user named Wedge found Chapter 1 in 2016. Then in 2018, KH Insider user CBadged5 found Chapter 3. Then in 2020, KH Insider users Iryu and KrZ1984 finally found the 4th chapter. And that's where it stands right now. To this day, no one's been able to find the 3rd chapter. The currently recovered chapters can be played on the Melange emulator, and YouTuber KrZ One got a tweaked version of the game running on a low-cost Brazil and Mexico exclusive console called the Zeebo. What, you've never heard of the Zeebo? I'd wager a guess that emulation is probably the easier way to play VCast. We've also recovered the full soundtrack of the game, courtesy of the game's original composer Ian Livingstone, who provided 13th Vessel with the original MIDI files and the sound font. The Kingdom Hearts community's effort to preserve what we can of Kingdom Hearts VCast has been cool to see play out over the years. If you want to learn more about VCast, Aid1043 has a number of good videos on it, and Timoram, who makes some really great Kingdom Hearts arrangements, has an awesome mashup of VCast's Obstacle Course theme with the track Stranded Beyond from Kingdom Hearts 3, which you've actually been listening to throughout this whole section of the video. Of course, links to that, Aid1043's videos, 13th Vessel's upload of the VCast soundtrack, and KrZ One's gameplay will all be linked in the description. On the other hand, this next piece of lost media seems to be lost for good. A lot of people don't even know about it, and honestly, the fact that this has never resurfaced is kinda surprising to me. The year is 2014. The HD 1.5 Remix collection came out about a year ago, and we're just over a year out from the big reveal of Kingdom Hearts 3 at E3 2013. The release of HD 2.5 Remix is just around the corner, and Disney had a whole launch event planned for it at the Walt Disney Studio lot in Burbank. And they really pulled out all the stops for this one. Out comes Shinji Hashimoto, the series executive producer at Square Enix, closely followed by Emiko Yamamoto, his counterpart at Disney Interactive Japan, series composer and industry legend Yoko Shimomura, and finally the man himself, series director Tetsuya Nomura. Huh, that's a pretty big lineup for an HD collection. There was a whole Q&A panel, live music, a special trailer for HD 2.5 Remix, and a raffle which included some figures, a PS3, and posters for Avengers Age of Ultron. Oh, that makes me feel really old. This event turned out to be a pretty big deal, but not because of any of the things that I've already told you about. No, the reason that we're still talking about this event today is because of what happened next. The show's about to end, but then Nomura slips the presenter a note. Everyone's gotta sit back down because there's one more thing, but no phones, no pictures, no video. And as the audience sat back down for the final minutes of the event, Kingdom Hearts 3 flashes up on screen. The trailer opens up with concept art for 3 new Heartless. The first was described as a burst of fire with a core of darkness. This is probably a flame core. Next was a small archer Heartless with a big hat, definitely the bizarre archer. And the final one was described as looking similar to a Greek gladiator, which was probably the satyr. Then it transitions to footage of Sora with a new Keyblade that's described as having an angel wing kind of vibe, which is really interesting because that description doesn't match any known Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts 3 or any later games for that matter. The footage shows the Keyblade transforming into dual guns and Sora changing into his Kingdom Hearts 2 Valor form outfit. He then combines the dual guns into a single cannon and switches to his Wisdom form outfit. This is clearly an early look at Kingdom Hearts 3's form change mechanic, which turns the Keyblade into different kinds of weapons and changes Sora's look accordingly. It's interesting that these forms are identified as Valor form and Wisdom form, as KH2's drive forms didn't make it into KH3. Maybe the drive forms were used as placeholders, or maybe these were the newer form change outfits but were just misidentified by attendees. Hard to say. The video goes on to show concept art of a world. It's described as a grand tiered city built on 3 hills, with the taller center hill featuring a tower resembling the one from Daybreak Town. The center tower was connected to surrounding towers by chains, kinda like the Land of Departure. The center tower was labeled CT. The trailer then pans into the tower and transitions into a 3D scene featuring a classroom. Kingdom Hearts 3 is old news now, so we know for sure that this was an early look at Scala ad Caelum, but at this point we weren't given that name, so we called the world Cabletown. And we wouldn't even get a public look at it until E3 2015. All we had was some art by KH Insider user Zephyr, which is how we know that the Scala ad Caelum we saw in 2015 and the Cabletown that a select few saw in 2014 were one and the same. Another interesting thing to mention is that this trailer shows Sora inside the classroom actually walking around, which, of course, never ended up happening. This room only ever appeared in cutscenes, so we never got a great look at a lot of the details. That is, until modders worked their magic and gave us a 360 view of the final product. Lots of details here, books and bottles of all kinds, this spinning thing, the really beautiful lighting coming in from the window reflecting on the tile floor, a table off to the side. The layout of the room is the same when we see it next in Dark Road, but in both games, the look of the classroom is pretty different to what's shown off in Zephyr's rendition. They depict it as more rustic, wooden, and honestly, basic. The final version has yellow and blue details and a much brighter look overall, less like a dusty old library and more like a palace. Now, a lot of what was shown in the trailer was concept art, so it's entirely possible that this look at the classroom was a really early rendition and it changed a lot before it was next seen. Or maybe it's not so different and Zephyr having to recreate this from memory is the reason for the differences. Without that trailer, we unfortunately can't really say. You know, it almost feels kinda silly to include this trailer among the other lost media, but it was such a big deal back in the day. This was the first original world in a long time and there was a lot of speculation. Is this actually a location in the Land of Departure? Some people insisted it had to be. Is this place connected to Daybreak Town somehow? After all, that central tower sure is similar. Or maybe this is the world that never was before it was plunged into darkness by Xehanort. The theories ran wild. And for that reason, this, to me, is like the centerpiece of Kingdom Hearts 3's long, drawn-out pre-release marketing. And the 14-year-old Kingdom Hearts fan in me is still curious about what that Cabletown trailer was really like. But unless someone at Square or Disney wants to leak that trailer someday, or somehow an early build of KH3 makes it onto the internet someday, the Cabletown trailer and that first look at the classroom remain lost. Let's change gears here for a second and talk about TV. The year is 2002. Disney Channel was at the absolute top of its game. Hit show after hit show after hit show. Now all of a sudden they've got a hit game on their hands too, with plans for a bunch of sequels. If only there was some way to, I don't know, capitalize on that. What is a corporation to do? Easy, make a cartoon. Mario did it, Sonic did it, Donkey Kong did it, even Pole Position did it. We all remember Pole Position, right? The man that Disney tapped for the job was Seth Kearsley, the director of, wait for it, 8 Crazy Nights. To his credit, it seems like Kearsley actually put a lot of love into the project. After accepting the job, he played through the game, realized that it was kinda peak, and figured that a story about these 3 knuckleheads going through all these different Disney worlds was like a slam dunk concept for a show. Apparently the initial script he received was really bad. Sora, Donald, and Goofy were relegated to background characters in an episode mostly focusing on Aladdin, which seems kinda redundant considering that he's already got his own show. So he rewrites the pilot, takes a bunch of creative control into his own hands, does all the storyboards himself, and even some of the editing. Once the pilot was complete, it was shown to test audiences and actually did really well. Great, so Disney developed it into a full-length series and aired it on TV, right?
No.
According to KrZ, Disney figured that if they turned it into a series, it would probably end up conflicting with future games. You'd either have two different stories for two different adaptations simultaneously, or you'd have to pad the series with filler episodes until the games could catch up. And we all know how that goes. So Disney figured that they could just make the show after they were done making the games. After all, how many of these things can you really crank out? Like 3? They're never gonna make that show, are they? This series was a pretty well-kept secret for a while. We didn't even know of its existence until 2013 when KrZ uploaded some storyboard panels on his DeviantArt account. In 2015, he found and uploaded even more panels and figured that was probably all he had of the pilot. Until 2016 when he revealed on Twitter that he had found a tape of the entire episode. But obviously you can't just release that online, at least not without crossing Big Mouse. Then in 2022, KrZ got into a terrible car accident which got him thinking seriously about his work and showing it off while he still had the chance. And the dam burst. He started looking into how best to digitize and release the tape, and in the meantime gave some casting details, revealing that a lot of the original cast had reprised their roles from the game, only excluding Haley Joel Osment due to scheduling issues. And in October 2022, he uploaded the entire 11-minute pilot episode to his YouTube channel. The pilot opens with Sora having a nightmare about the fall of Destiny Islands before waking up on the Gummy ship. The trio lands in Agrabah and fights off a bunch of Heartless. They're reunited with Riku and head into the Cave of Wonders to retrieve the genie's lamp. Riku has some issues controlling his darkness and is whisked away by some Heartless. Sora, Donald, and Goofy return to the Gummy ship and Riku heads back to Hollow Bastion, revealed to be working for Maleficent. There are definitely some differences from the game. For instance, we never meet Riku in Agrabah, or there's the fall of Destiny Islands happening at night, and Kairi not being all that useful like she is in the pilot. But plans for the story were clearly still very much in the spirit of the game's original story, and KrZ and his team probably would have done a great job if they were able to move forward with the project. Unfortunately, the same day he uploaded the pilot, KrZ was asked by Disney to take it down. But he left it up just long enough for it to be downloaded and re-uploaded by a lot of people. And luckily, you can still find it on archive.org and even on YouTube. So we may never get a full series. And if we do, who knows if Disney will go to Seth KrZ for it, or if it'll even be a 2D animated series. I'm just glad that this piece of lost media, which was kind of a holy grail for a while, has now been found. Maybe someday the Cabletown trailer or the lost third chapter of Kingdom Hearts VCast will be found too. Only time will tell.